All right, y'all. One of about 1,000 plus of these free reviews. Let's go. This is at BNC underscore breaks one. Let's get into it. He says he's about an 8 handicap. Makes a pretty decent move at the ball. We'll kind of play it here in one motion before we get going. We'll talk about some of his misses. He says he hits the ball thin and has a tendency to push, and then he has a tendency to hit off the toe with the bigger clubs. So one of the things that we're missing here is space, right? You can see how contained everything is with these arms, right? These arms never get away from his body, and even in a traditional golf swing, we need to have some space. We need to have some leverage when we're swinging the golf club, right? And so when we get jammed up like this, even with a nice big turn, right, it's really hard to create maximum power, right? And as you'll see at the top here, right, gets his hands pretty high. You know what? Decent position here, but what's really interesting is that he actually floats a little inside to over the top. A little Kelly Craft, if you don't know who that is, on the PGA Tour does this, all right? But the one thing that we're missing here is any sort of wrist action, right? You can see these wrists absolutely never ever set, right? They're just locked the entire time, right? And when we do that, we want to dump these angles. We start throwing these angles away really quickly, right? And so I'd like to get some space as we go back, right? When we're in this position here, I'd like to get this club head a little further away from us and get these arms to extend a little bit as we go back, creating some room, okay? I think you'll see that this will help our head not feel like we have to lift and then get out of our way at the top if we can create a little space going back. I really would like to see, even if we keep this little float going this way, it's not the end of the world. There's been some great players that have done that, but we have to allow this club to set a little bit, right? We got to let that shaft set as we start to come down to create some angles, right? And then the one thing that I really think will help him get rid of hitting ball off the toe is if we would allow this right elbow, instead of getting it way behind us here in transition and staying behind us, if we could get that elbow to actually lead. If we zoom in here, you see this big old window here to the trees, right? We need to get that elbow. It doesn't have to be in front because maybe you're not the most flexible, and that's okay. Not everybody is. But at least minimize that gap. And when we can minimize this gap right here and get this elbow to lead a little bit in transition, okay? We get this elbow to lead a little bit in transition. This will then help maximizing our angles a little bit, right? We won't dump them so early. We'd actually keep some of these angles. It'll get rid of this negative shaft lean here at impact, right? And then it also will help get these arms away from us. Again, just everything is so connected. There's just no extension here. Look at this left arm. It never leaves his side, right? Until we start pulling. You can see we start pulling with the elbow behind us, right? And so everything you do here is just pulling the upper body through impact, and we're never ever using our hands and creating space. So we need to create some space going back. We got to let our wrists set. We got to lead with that elbow, which will hopefully create some better angles coming down, get rid of our toe balls, and help maximize this extension, especially with this left arm post impact, because you actually do some really good things here. You get that toe to turn over beautifully. It's actually really square. I can see why you're a single digit, but no reason why you couldn't become a 4 or 5 cleaning these things up. So simple fixes, make it a little bit less of a body heave and pull, and add a little rhythm and some finesse with these hands by creating space, setting, and leading with the elbow, right? And then we won't feel like we have to, what I call, eating our ear with our right shoulder here. We can actually use our hands and arms to extend to create maximum speed. Anyways, good luck, and I hope you play some better golf.